Have you ever wanted to know how to make simple animations in Canva? Well, today is your lucky day. I'm going to show you a couple of different things that I do that can help your videos look great, and post these on your social media as well. Hi, I'm Tina Hughes from tinahughesonline.com, and I love to help people make anything that looks like a video. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is show you one that I've created. It only took a couple of seconds, and this has 4 separate animated sections. These are pre-animated, and then this one here I animated in Canva. Okay, so this in the center, the text can be absolutely anything you want. So let's create a new document and we'll take it from there. So I'm clicking on File up in the top menu, and then I'm going to say Create a New Design and Custom Dimensions. I'm going to say 800 by 800. This, of course, can be anything you want it to be, but I'm just choosing this so that it's easy to see on the screen. Click Create New Design, and then we have a square 800 pixels by 800 pixels. The first thing I want to do is type the text. So I like this one here. So I'm going to click on that. It places it on the board here. I'm going to also click on Ungroup while it is selected on the screen. So get rid of Ungroup, and then I can click on this smaller font, get rid of that, and then here I'm going to type Tina Hughes Online.com. I'm going to select that with Command A, and then I'm going to click on the centering tool, and I can see that it's a bit squished, but let's change the font first before I add more spacing in. So in the fonts, here's one that I quite like, is Aprila Bold. Now, I could leave that without any extra space, but I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of space by clicking on the spacing icon up here in the menu. And the line height, I just want there to be a little bit more space so no font touches any other font, like in the G. Okay, so that's done. And then for the color, let's choose from here. I'm going to click on this one here, and we've changed the font. Now I'm going to click on one of the corners while it's still selected and just resize it a little bit. And then I'm going to drag it into position. Now, with these text or anything on the screen, you can drag it until you see the crosshairs. Now, it can be just centered in one direction or in both directions. So I'm going to do that for both directions. Now I'm going to come over here to the left, and I'm going to click on Elements, and I'm going to type in Sticker and Sparkle. Let's see what we've got here. So you've got a whole host of pre-animated items here, and I'm not seeing what I like. They're all a bit too flashy for me, so I'm just going to go back and say Spark. Sticker Spark. Here we go. Here's the one I chose before, so I'll use that as well. When that's copied onto your page here, it is quite large, so the first thing I did was resize it and then turn it. So I turned it on a 45-degree angle and dragged it here. Now I'm going to create 3 more of these, so let's do that. So you just do a copy. I just did Command C on my Mac for copy. I dragged it into position, and now I'm turning it around so it's 45 degrees approximately, and drag it a bit closer. Make another one of those, paste, copy and paste, and then turn. Drag it into position, and it's entirely up to you where you place these. So after I've got these sort of in position, I drag them around a bit. So I'm going to copy this last one up here, drag it over to here. I'm going to grab the little symbol that allows me to turn the image. and then drag that in a little bit closer. Okay, so then I'm going to select the font. I think I'm going to change the colour. Let's make it a bit bolder. Let's make it a strong purple. Okay, now I'm going to click away from that, click off everything. Now up here in the menu, when I don't have anything selected in the menu, I can now see animate. And I like to animate for 10 seconds in here, so I'm choosing 10. And then I'm clicking on animate, and it gives me all of these options. So let's click on the first one called block. Breathe, fade, pan, rise, and tumble. I like tumble. Now, each of these options on the left-hand side under animate, they all have the little crown, which is telling me that you have to pay for those. So if you want to stick with the free version, you don't need to pay for anything. This is all free. I'm quite happy with the way that looks right now. So I'm going to name it. So up here, I always like to name my images, and I like to put a dash in between the words. So I'm going to call this animated Canva just for the purposes of this video. And then I'm going to make sure I press return or enter so that that name is locked in for downloading. If you're going to use this on a white background, that's fantastic. Download it as it is. If you want to drag this into a video or use it anywhere else and there might be other coloured backgrounds, you need to make the background of this particular image lime green. So come over here to the left, click on background, select the colour palette, and then I like to select the options and go for the brightest green. And then I click up here in the corner to grab that. Now, it looks pretty ugly right now, but that's okay, because once you get that into your video editing software, you can then click on this and then tell it its chroma key and the green will disappear. So this can go onto any colour background that you like. Okay, time to download. I've opened up my video editing software, which is called ScreenFlow for Mac. I've dragged in two items. One is a cartoon animation of me, and for this one it's static, it's not moving. And here is the lime green one from Canva. I've dragged my cartoon down into the timeline, and then here it appears on the screen right there. So now I'm going to drag the lime green animation down. I'm going to click on it once, and then over here in my settings, I'm going to select chroma key and add, and straight away it's see-through. Now, what we need to do is actually play the video. There it is, it's 10 seconds long. Okay, so obviously that's a bit too long, that's all right, but it's also smack bang in the middle of my face. So I'm going to click on it once, it's already selected, and I'm going to reduce the size so it fits here on the screen. So now I can come back here. I'm going to stretch out this image and I'm going to play. The animation appears and it's flashing, so it's very cute. Now, if I wanted to make this shorter, I can just click on this. Instead of making it 10 seconds, I'll make it 5 seconds. And that means that it will only last for 5 seconds on the screen. So that's entirely up to you. In your editing software for videos, you can play around and change everything that you like. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little video, and if you've got any questions, do please let me know. In the meantime, if you feel like clicking like or subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic. I'll see you very soon. This is Tina from TinaHughesOnline.com. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.